create a full-time income with part-time work or just have it as a side hustle. So writing grants as a side hustle is the perfect way to start your freelance grant writing business. All right, now let's talk about how to structure your freelance grant writing business. Let's talk about administrative logistics. Just like any business, a freelance grant writer needs to incorporate their business. This process will depend on where you live in the world. The main difference between incorporations in the United States include sole proprietorship, right? Sole prop, limited liability corporation, the LLC, and a sole corporation. To figure out which type of incorporation is best for you, we recommend you talk to a lawyer. Disclaimer, we are not lawyers, okay? You can also visit the U.S. Small Business Administration to see how you need to file in your state. They have an excellent drop-down list for all states and U.S. territories with contact information where you need to form a business. Overall, forming a business in the United States is a pretty straightforward process. The main pieces to file your business are register your business name. It can't be the same name as another business in your state. Have an EIN number and articles of incorporation, a business location or address, ownership information and structure, and a registered agent information. And all of this is found in the U.S. Small Business Administration. You can also hire a law firm to help you with your business documentation. So let's talk about the next big thing that comes up when you're forming a business. What should I name my grant writing business? This is a question I often get that can paralyze many people from starting a business. Should they use their own name for their business? Should they brand it with a general name? And my philosophy on this is it really doesn't matter, okay? But there are some considerations that I have learned. I would recommend that you do not create a whimsical name for your business that doesn't make sense. For example, the first name of my company was WeGo Consulting, and I'm still kind of stuck to it for certain businesses. But it was cute because it was an acronym that stood for writing, editing, grants, organization, right? All of the things. But here's the thing. Nobody's Googling the word WeGo when looking for grant writing. When my logo was on something, nobody knew what it meant except for me. And that is not the best marketing strategy or brand awareness strategy. I then changed my brand name to Grant Writing and Funding. And guess what? People actually Google that. And when I introduce my business name and what I do, people automatically know what I'm talking about. However, I also don't mind folks using their own names for their business name as well. But I would recommend making a little niche. For example, instead of just using Holly Rustic Consulting, what about Holly Rustic Grant Funding Consulting, right? Make it a little niche so people know what you're talking about. A good reason for using your name and a niche description are chances that nobody else will be using this name in your state. Remember, you can't have the same business name as someone else. So if you just had, Jane Smith Consulting, there might be a lot of other Jane Smith Consulting, but it was Jane Smith Grant Consulting, it would probably be available, right? However, if you want your business to feel bigger than just you or to grow at some point, you may not choose to use your name, but have a broader brand name as well. And that can be absolutely fine. But at the end of the day, don't stress about this. You can also use a doing business as in the future. You can do all of those things. Just get your business started. All right, so now let's talk about full-time versus part-time. Is freelance grant writing a good side hustle? Yes, you can create a full-time income with part-time work or just have it as a side hustle. So writing grants as a side hustle is the perfect way to start your freelance grant writing business. This is ideal to dip your toes into freelancing in the beginning, but it's not always the reality. Some people get fired from their jobs or they need to quit their regular job because of burnout, health issues, family reasons, and so much more. No matter why you start your freelance grant writing business, you can work part-time hours and earn good money. Some grant writers only want 1 or 2 clients and work around 20 to 30 hours a month. That's definitely perfect if you're a stay-at-home parent who's taking care of little ones, a retiree who's wanting to do a bit of work, but still have a lot of time off to do the things that they love. So maybe someone who is taking care of family members with health issues or elderly relatives, or even if you have a chronic illness or health condition and need a good income on limited hours and more. I have literally worked with hundreds of people from all walks of life and who started a freelance grant writing business with many of these reasons why. That's why freelance grant writing is such a good side hustle, right? It's a technical and professional skill. With having this type of skill, you can charge professional level pricing. Just one client can easily bring in $3,000 a month for maybe 20 hours a month. When you are focused on helping a nonprofit get their first $10,000 all the way to their first $100,000, then make their first $1,000,000, makes your prices worth it. Plus, you can do all of the grant research, grant writing, and correspondence online. You literally never have to travel in person to write a grant nowadays. You can also work in different time zones than your clients. Sure, it's great to have an online meeting once a month that's virtually live, but that is something you could stay up late for or wake up early for if you're in another time zone. Many side hustle jobs that are out there are also very saturated. Social media management, virtual assistants, graphic design, bookkeeping can feel very noisy. Grant writing is something that all nonprofits know about, but the industry is not saturated. And you can also make really great money as a full-time freelance grant writer as well, but still not work 40 hours a week. So let's talk about that. You can absolutely make good money as a freelance grant writer. With just 4 clients working on part-time hours, you could make the not so elusive 6-figure income. We see this all the time in the academy with people quitting their full-time jobs within months because they're able to build up their grant writing businesses with just a few clients and replace their full-time income with part-time hours. This might sound too good to be true, but it's something that actually happens a lot. As a freelance grant writer, it is important to understand the specific grant writing services you will offer your clients. You may think that all grant writers offer the same services, but they do not. So remember, you don't need a grant writing certification, 10,000 hours of grant writing, or so many more things. What you do need is 1, grant writing skills, and 2, business acumen. Be sure to stay tuned in our next video about how you can go full-time and part-time and how you can charge for your services and set up your services as a freelance grant writer.